if you don't think you're good enough for, or accepted the way you are, or worthy of being loved, you may be like an overgiver. You may be someone that feels like you need to do something for someone for them to want you. You may feel like you need to give something to someone for them to love you, to accept you. No, because that was something that I used to really, really struggle with, because I had this belief that I wasn't good enough, I wasn't wanted, people would always leave. So my brain, unconsciously, I wasn't like consciously aware of it until I'd done some digging, would find ways to like latch on to people and give, like whether that's friendships, relationships. It doesn't have to be like a specific person, it can literally be anyone. And I remember when I was younger, I'd be always thinking of things I could do for other people to make them happy. And I didn't realise I was doing it because I didn't feel good enough or I didn't feel like I was wanted. But subconsciously, that was what it was. And when I look back at it, I realised that's what it was. I never felt like I was accepted or wanted around or good enough. I always felt like people would leave, people would go. And in a way, it's been a good thing because it's made me more comfortable and confident in myself and being independent. But it's also made me be too much of an overgiver, whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, with my time, with the physical thing, being there for other people, not being there for myself. Nothing wrong with having these things that we do, like giving to people, being kind to people and things like that. But there has to be a line, there has to be a limit. And you have to tell yourself, I do not need to give to get love. I do not need to give to be loved. I do not need to give, whether it's your time, yourself, your emotions. You don't need to give in order for someone to deem you worthy, to accept you, to love you, to want you. It sounds like you may have a subconscious belief that you're not good enough, you're not wanted, people always leave. And unconsciously you'll be an overgiver. And I know people in my life who are overgivers because deep down they don't feel good enough for certain people in their life, so they will give in the hopes that they'll stay. Really, it's just pushing that person away. Their dominant belief is I'm not wanted, so eventually that person's not going to want them, no matter how much that person gives to them, no matter how much time they put in for them. So if this sounds like you, then like I just said, you may have that belief, and you can change that belief. Right now you can change that belief by thinking and repeating a new thought. A new thought repeated becomes a belief, right? So if you keep affirming and assuming that you are the you that is now accepted just the way you are, loved just the way you are, doesn't need to give to get love, doesn't need to give to be accepted, then you are replacing that old thought, the old belief. You're digging up the root, chucking it out, planting a new seed, and people in your reality will start to reflect that back and treat you accordingly. So you know your value, you know your worth. I know with me, something that I've recently discovered is, I wouldn't say that I didn't really think I was worthy, but I was sort of felt like I was good enough to do certain things. And so I would undervalue myself in various ways because deep down I didn't feel like I was good enough to do what it was that I was doing. And that's something I've had to change.